Soyez le bienvenu à Paris.
I'm sorry, I don't speak French.
Soyez le bienvenu à Paris means welcome to Paris. May I show you the city where I live? My Paris?
Yes, I'd really like to know Paris. It's so big. Where shall we begin?
Well, let's begin with the river, the Seine. You can see it there. It flows through the heart of our city. Now we are on the Seine. And you recognize that, don't you?
Yes, the Cathedral of Notre-Dame, isn't it?
Correct. The cathedral stands on this small island in the middle of the Seine. This is where Paris began as a Roman town more than 2,000 years ago. Centuries later, about 1290, when the cathedral was finished, the city of Paris occupied the island and both banks of the river. Today, the city has spread far beyond this.
So the cathedral is in the oldest part of Paris, on the island in the Seine.
Yes, and from the top of the cathedral we can see how far the city extends.
Paris is very old then, a long history of more than 2,000 years.
History? Oh yes, the history of Paris is also the history of France. Let me show you. The Arc de Triomphe, the Arch of Triumph, reminds us of the great place France won in world history. Beneath the arch is the eternal flame that honors the unknown soldier of France. And now, more history. In this building, Les Invalides is the tomb of one of France's greatest soldiers, Napoleon, who created a great French empire. Today, our government, as you know, is a republic. Our Senate meets here in the Luxembourg Palace. It was once the home of the kings of France. This is another former royal residence, le Palais Bourbon. It is here that our National Assembly meets.
Paris has many government buildings then.
Yes, and many thousands of Parisians work for the government. But Paris is more than a government city. It is also the financial center of France. This is our stock exchange. It is called la Bourse. The word means purse in French. Businessmen from all over the world come to Paris to deal with French companies.
So Paris is a city of commerce?
Very much so. Let me explain by showing you this.
The Eiffel Tower. This is a beautiful view.
Yes, but do you know why it was built? You see, it was built in 1889 for a World's Fair, an exposition of trade and commerce. And Paris is still a display center for French products. In particular, our city is famous for women's fashions.
That's one of your famous dress shops, isn't it?
Yes, it is one of many such shops in Paris. For women's clothing is a big industry here, and thousands of Parisians work in the special trades such as designing and making dresses. Other workers make accessories for which Paris is also famous. The right hat is important, and so is a fine fur piece to set off a Parisian gown. We are famous, too, for our fine perfumes and cosmetics, and our exquisite jewelry. And Paris offers things to beautify the home, too, such as fine porcelain ware.
That reminds me, Paris is famous as an art center, too, isn't it?
Of course. What would Paris be without art? Or without the art students who come here from all parts of the world? Many of them go to the Louvre to study some of the finest art masterpieces ever collected. The Louvre is our palace of fine arts. The Paris Opera is the home of music and ballet. If it is drama you prefer, we have many theaters, including our famous Comédie Française. Paris, like New York and other big cities, has many theaters. And of course, movie houses too. But perhaps You are interested in literature. Along the Seine, we will find literature in our open bookstalls.
It looks like a pleasant way to browse through books.
We will often see students here because, you see, we are not far from l'Université de Paris, the University of Paris. It is one of the oldest in Europe. Students from France and other lands come here to study a variety of subjects in the arts and sciences. The university also offers courses in such things as engineering. Perhaps these young men may someday design a piece of machinery to be used in our heavy industries.
Heavy industries? I never thought of Paris as an industrial city.
Oh, yes. We have many factories in the city and nearby suburbs. Chemicals and machinery are two kinds of industrial products we make. Railway equipment is another. And, as with other great cities, Paris is a transportation center, especially for railroads. Our city is a central point for railroads that link all parts of France to Paris. Our railroad stations handle many thousands of passengers every day.
I know that station. It's the Gare Saint-Lazare, where I came into Paris. From here, I took a taxi and had my first drive in your city.
Did you know that our boulevard and the bridges that cross the Seine are all part of the national highway system that comes together in Paris? Of course, the Seine is also part of our transportation system. Barges carry many products to and from Paris. Some of the boatmen and their families live on their barges.
I'll bet that's great fun for the kids.
I imagine, but the main reason for barges on the Seine is to bring Paris its products. For example, food. This is one of our produce markets. This is a different kind of market, a flower market. To most Parisians, beauty is as important as food.
Could we see more of the way Parisians really live?
Of course. Here is Madeleine, the girl with the flowers, and her friend. After work, many Parisians go home by bus. Others may take the metro, the subway, just as Madeleine is doing. The metro leads from the city into the residential neighborhoods and the suburbs. Madeleine walks from the station to her home. Madeleine's neighborhood, perhaps like yours, has its small shops and stores. Like many Parisians, Madeleine lives in an apartment building.
Can we visit her home?
Of course. We will meet her family, too. Madeleine greets her father first. Listen.
Comment vas-tu?
Très bien. Et toi?
Oh, très bien, merci. Il a fait chaud aujourd'hui.
Oh oui. Assieds-toi.
Merci.
Je lisais dans le match ce très bel article.
Oh oui, oh, j'ai rapporté des fleurs pour maman, des
Oh,
roses.
bonne
Je
idée.
les ai dans la cuisine.
Tu as bien fait.
Oh, bonjour maman. Bonjour Philippe. Oh, une bonne tasse de café va nous faire du bien. Bonjour Madeleine, petit bonjour. Bonjour. Ah, c'est un grand garçon. Merci. Tu veux un biscuit, Philippe? Tiens. Merci. Oh, c'est un grand garçon. Dis plus fort, merci. Merci. Ah, c'est gentil, ça.
Très bien.
Tu veux t'en aller? Qu'est-ce que tu as fait aujourd'hui, Philippe? Tu as joué avec le petit garçon à côté? Oui? Oui. Ah, c'est gentil. Tu es un grand garçon.
Bien donc.
Yes.
Voilà.
Whether they speak French or your own language, a family is a family, is it not? And now, at the end of the day, one last look at our city.
But we haven't seen it all.
No, there is much more. The quiet, elegant suburbs. The old sections of the city with their narrow streets. The sidewalk cafes where Parisians love to sit and talk. And the parks where we take our children on Sunday. Yes, all this is Paris, and more. I hope that you have enjoyed this brief visit.
I have. I feel I'm getting to know Paris and why it is a great and important city.
Merci, thank you, And now here on one of our grand boulevards, I will say, au revoir, until we meet again.